Straight all day.
You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of wait for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how to get out of tactical hell. What is tactical hell? How do you know that you're in it? And once you realize that you're in it, how do you get out of it? That's a good question, isn't it? Yes, it is. I'm glad I asked it. So now, before we get into it, first of all, let me tell you, I have a daily motivation text message I send out free of charge every single day to everyone who's in my text community. Message guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. If that sounds like what you are looking for, text me at my number right now. It is 305-384-6894. And every day when I send out the daily motivation, every morning you'll be receiving that message straight to your phone. And workonyourgame.net is where you can access my training. For those of you who want to step up your revenue, you want to step up your income, you want to step up your financial game, and you want the 5 steps to actually doing it without having to run yourself into the ground in the process, go to workonyourgame.net. The training is free. Now, getting out of tactical hell. First of all, let me give credit to my favorite author, a man by the name of Robert Greene, because he's the one who planted the seed for the idea of tactical hell in my mind. He's the first person I heard use that phrase. Although, however, Robert used it, he was really talking about the battlefield. That's where he first came up with it. That's where he sourced the idea from, because a lot of his books, if you haven't read any Robert Greene's works, he's the author of several of my favorite books, like the 50th Law, the 48 Laws of Power, 33 Strategies of War. And in those books, he uses examples from the battlefield, and then he draws analogies from these battlefield examples to the points that he's making that apply to all of us in the day-to-day contemporary world. And I am talking about it as it applies to our daily lives, to our business, and to our strategy. So what tactical hell is, first of all, getting clear on that, this is when you find yourself basically playing whack-a-mole in life. Everybody knows what whack-a-mole is that arcade game that you play when, like, the little animal, it's called a mole, it pops up, you hit it with the hammer, that one goes away because you knocked it down, then another one pops up, you got to hit that one, then another one pops up, you hit that one, another one pops up, you hit that one, and before you know it, the whole point of the game is that the moles start popping up so fast that you can't move your hands fast enough to knock them all down, and then you get overwhelmed, and then before you know it, the moles have basically completely taken over you, and they eat you alive and they kill you. They don't kill you, but you get the point. Or you're also always putting out fire after fire. You're always just running to handle this and that's done, you gotta handle that and that's done, you handle that and that's done, and you feel like you're always doing stuff, you're always working, but you don't have any time to breathe, and despite all your efforts, you're not really making any measurable progress. Another way of describing this is kind of like you're running on a treadmill. So you're running a lot and using up a lot of energy and you're tired, but when you hop off the treadmill, you realize you're in the exact same spot that you were when you started. Or you don't hop off the treadmill, that's the whole point, that you're on the treadmill. All of this is what encompasses tactical hell. So if you find yourself in tactical hell, or if I had just described the tactical hell that you are currently residing in, then this episode is for you. And if you are not in tactical hell right now, understand that there may come a day when you are in tactical hell. So as I talked about yesterday, and my kind of semi-disclaimer in the intro to the episode, you should be listening to every episode of this show, because I may be talking about a topic that's not directly related to you, but the principles will always relate to everybody. That's why they're principles and not ideas and not hacks. Point number 1. Today's topic, once again, is how to get out of tactical hell if you are in it. Number 1, you must decide that it is worth the effort to systematize your process. So let's just talk about business. Any of you business folks, and that training that I talk about at workonyourgame.net, one of the things that I address there, and I put a good amount of time into addressing, is helping you business professionals understand that if you find yourself in tactical hell, it is because you have not completely and or properly systematize what's going on in your business. That's why you feel like you're in tactical hell. You're always putting out fires, playing whack-a-mole. One thing gets handled, then there's 10 more things you got to handle. Then you handle those 10, there's 3 more to pop up, and it never ends, and you're on that treadmill. You got to get things systematized. And actually, this applies to, I'm using business as an example here, but this applies to any aspect of life where you feel like you're always running from one thing to the next, and they're all urgent and they're all emergencies. You are tactically getting overwhelmed. The reason many people stay in tactical hell, even once they realize that they're in it, is not because they don't know that they are existing in tactical hell, and is not because they don't want to get out of tactical hell, believe it or not. The reason many people stay in tactical hell is because they do not want to make the investments of time, effort, attention, and energy that will be required to get out of it. This is the reason why many people stay in tactical hell. In episode 609, I told you about the 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, and focus. To get out of tactical hell, you got to put in at least 4 of those. Money might be the one you don't have to put in, because you can't really, you could pay somebody to help you get out of it. You could pay somebody to actually, put the systems around. But the main thing you need to do is you need to do it yourself. And this is an investment, and this is the reason why many people never get out of tactical hell, because they don't want to do the work. They know that getting out of it will require them to take some steps backward in order to take a few steps forward. And the fact is that even high-performing, high-income people, they often don't want to stop doing what they're already doing in order to do something different. So if you're making $45,000 a year right now, and you look at somebody who's making, let's say 5 times that, let's say they're around $250,000 a year, they have the same issue with tactical hell that you do. The difference between them and you is maybe they've been in the game longer, maybe they just have a better product, better service, better idea, and they're better at executing what they do. They got a better market than you, but they often have the same problems, just a higher level of problem than what you have. Many people just don't want to do the work that would get them out of tactical hell, and it is work that gets you out of tactical hell. Remember that all of us as humans, we are creatures of habit, and even people who are performing at a high level are susceptible to the truth that we would rather do the things that we are habitually comfortable with than to do something different. Many people just continue doing what they've been doing because it's gotten them to where they are, and it's the very reason why many people end up stuck, because they don't want to do anything different. They don't want to change the game. First step to getting out of tactical hell, folks, is the decision that it is worth it to slow down for a bit in order to speed up in the big picture. And this is a challenge that so many people have, and it's the reason why tactical hell is a place that is never empty. There's always a whole bunch of people living in tactical hell simply because many people don't want to put the effort into slowing down so they can speed up. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is how to get yourself out of tactical hell. With this decision made, so you made the decision that you're going to get out of tactical hell. Now here's the next thing you got to do. You got to do the opposite of what got you here and enlist help in getting things organized. Usually when people are in tactical hell is because you've kind of done things on your own and as you saw fit, which is sometimes a good idea, but sometimes it's not. And if you're in tactical hell, then whatever led you to getting in tactical hell, it was a bad idea for you to do that, knowing what you know now. So the next important step that many people stumble on is this one right here. Here's the truth that you need to understand. If you're in tactical hell right now, the reason is you. You are the reason that you're in tactical hell. So you are probably, because you're the reason, you're probably not the one who's going to be able to solve the problem. You see what I'm saying here? Since you're the one who got you into tactical hell, you're not going to be the one to get you out. In episode 2282, I told you, you are the problem, but you are not the problem. You are the problem in that anything that's happening in your business and in your life, you are at some level responsible for it. But at the same time, the problem is not the solution. All right? Just because you identified the problem does not mean you're the one who needs to solve it. You identify you as the problem doesn't mean you're the one who needs to solve it. I told you this in episode 793. The problem is not the solution. Keep in mind that the thing that got you into a situation is not necessarily the thing that will get you out of it. So, for example, somebody has a problem that is completely out of the realm of, let me back up. Sometimes someone has a solution to a problem that's completely out of the realm of what led to the problem. So fixing a problem does not always mean just do the exact opposite of what you were doing before. And this is what many people think, and that often fails. You might think it will often work, but it often fails. See, for example, if a person gains a lot of weight because they were eating a whole bunch of food that they shouldn't have been eating, the solution to the weight gain is not necessarily to stop eating food. All right, it's to change what you're eating. You keep eating food, just eat different foods and probably less of the bad stuff, but you got to eat different foods. Not that you completely stop eating. You completely stop eating, you might die. All right, I think you can go 30 days without food, and you can't go as long without water. But the solution to the problem is not to stop eating completely. Solution is maybe see what you're doing in the gym, if anything, if you ever even been to the gym, and then watch what you're putting in your body. Those are the solutions. So usually for you high performing individuals, the solution to your problem is not let me work harder, let me perform at a higher level, let me do the opposite of what I did that got me to the situation. Those are some of the common responses that people have when they find themselves in tactical hell, but none of those is the accurate response. And understand there's a difference between being right and being accurate. We talked about that in episode 2167. Being right versus being accurate, they are not the same. And all you high performers, the biggest thing you need is not more hard work. I mean, you're already working hard. That's how you became a high performer. The biggest thing you need is insight. We talked about insight in episode 1177. Let me make sure that's the right one that I am. Yes, episode 1177. The key to going from 1x to 10x is insight. What does insight mean? Insight means getting a completely new approach to dealing with a situation, as opposed to, and this is what most people do that causes them to mess up, doing more of what you already been doing as if that was a solution. Let me say this again, because I want to make sure everybody hears this, because this is a very important point. Those of you who are high performers, all right, let's say you're running a business. If your business is already doing at least 6 figures a year and you find yourself in tactical hell, the answer to your problem is not work harder. And as a matter of fact, I talk to enough entrepreneurs and business professionals who are at the 6-figure level to know with 100% certainty, and if I got this wrong, any of you can let me know, you don't have the capacity to work any harder than you already are. All right, you can't work harder. All right, you can't put in more hours. You're already given all the hard work and all the hours that you have to where you're at right now. So you can't work harder. So clearly this is not the answer to your problems. What you need is insight. Insight means a new approach and a new perspective on the issue, so that with the hard work that you're already giving, with the effort that you're already giving, you can get more done and achieve more results. But it's not because you worked harder or you got smarter or any of that other bullshit ideas that people come up with that they think is a solution to their problem. If that was a solution to your problem, then people like me would not exist. There'd be no need for the entire coaching industry. There'd be no need for the word insight if all it took was, let me just work harder, let me just put more time in, because anybody can figure that out on their own. I mean, am I right about this, or am I right? Doing more of what you've already been doing, if that was a solution, folks, you could do that by yourself. And I can't tell you, I've talked about this so many times here on the show. In my text community, let me show you. In my text community right now, you see any of y'all looking on video, you see my phone, you see all these texts right here? These are all texts that I need to respond to. In my text community, when I'm texting with people all the time, I hear from people who say something like, they tell me what their challenge is, and I say, all right, what are you going to do to solve that challenge? And they'll give me some form of work harder or put in more time. If that was all you needed, then you wouldn't have a problem. You wouldn't even need to be talking to me. You would just work harder and put in more time, the problem would be solved. But that ain't the answer to your problems. And this is why people continually have the same problems over and over again in life, because they are coming up with the wrong answers to the right question. Or let me back that up. The right answer to the wrong question. That's a better way of saying it. The right answer to the wrong question, which is, all right, how do I work harder? How do I put in more time? That ain't the problem. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how to get yourself out of tactical hell if you are in it. Number 3, you need strategies and systems. 2 of my favorite words. I use these all the time. So if you think you hear me saying these often, you're right. Definition of a strategy is a plan of action or a policy designed to achieve a major or overall aim. Definition of a system is a set of things working together as parts of a mechanism or an interconnecting network. The biggest difference between a person who earns $50,000 a year and a person who earns $250,000 a year. What do you think it is? Actually, before I even answer the question, let me pose that question to the people in the audience. Anyone in the audience, your business or your income, whatever you want to call it, if you're earning $50,000 a year, or somebody is earning $50,000 a year versus $250,000 a year, what's the difference between the two? What's the biggest difference? And many people get this wrong, but maybe some of you will get it right. What do y'all think is the biggest difference between 50K and 250K? Who can tell me? All right, I gave you enough time to figure it out. Here's the answer. The person at 250 usually just has a better market, a better idea, they're better at executing, and they're a better salesperson. And that's about as far as you're going to go with just better. All right, better will take you to about this level that I'm laying out right here, about 250K. And maybe you can get this far, you might not even get this far. But if you maximize on the better, as far as your market, your idea, your execution, and your sales skills, you can get to about 250K. But even then, you're going to be doing all the work, and you will be in tactical hell. Trust me, I know. I have experience working with people like this. You're 50 grand right now. You could theoretically get to 6 figures just by getting better at what you're doing right now. You get to 100,000, you get 150. I'm not guaranteeing it, but it's possible. The difference between the 6-figure level and the 7-figure level, though, is not skill, talent, and damn sure is not hard work. You're making 250K right now. You're not gonna get to $1 million by just working harder. And anybody who's at 250K, you know this very well because you're already working very hard to be where you're at. Now you don't have the capacity to work 4 times harder than you are right now. 250K times 4 equals $1 million. The difference between 6 and 7 figures is not skill, talent, not hard work. The difference is strategy and system. That's the difference, strategy and system. When you implement strategy and system, folks, what happens is you start multiplying instead of adding. Hard work, belief, skill, talent, better, any form of quote unquote better, all of those are forms of addition. And there's only so far addition can take you. If you're ready to start multiplying, then you need strategies and systems. Everybody hear what I just said? Inside my Facebook group, it's called 6 Figures and Growing. You can find it on Facebook. Just look it up. I think I have the link in the show notes as well. But just look up the Facebook or go to if you just text me, just ask me for the link. I'll send you the link to the Facebook group. I did an hour-long training on this very point. That there's a big difference between adding and multiplying when it comes to your growth in business. And adding happens when you are just trying to get better. That's incremental growth. Nothing wrong with incremental growth, but there's a limit to it. It has an upper limit. Multiplication, on the other hand, does not have an upper limit. And this is what happens when you use strategies and systems rather than just trying to be better. You cannot hard work your way past a certain point in life. You need to put strategies and systems in place so that your work is systematized and your results are coming in strategically through a process and not by skill, talent, and effort. Let me say that last part again. You want your results coming in strategically and through a process, not through skill, talent, or effort. Many people try to get everything done through skill, talent, and effort. The problem is you are not unlimited in any of those things. A system can run infinitely. Your skill is not infinite. Your talent is not infinite, and your ability to work hard is not infinite. All of those things eventually reach their max, and then you're done. That's pretty much it. And many people don't have the mindset of understanding what could I do next, or what should I do next, or what's the next move, and this is why they get stuck at a certain point. If you want to get unstuck, though, I'm going to tell you where to go to do that. But let's recap today's class first before we do that. Today's topic again is how to get out of tactical hell. Credit to Robert Greene, who planted this seed in my mind. Tactical hell is when you find yourself running on that treadmill, playing whack-a-mole, putting out fires all the time, but not making tangible progress. You're always doing stuff, but you're not able to move forward. Point number 1, decide that it is worth the effort to systematize your business. The reason many people stay in tactical hell is because they don't know that they're in it, or they don't know is not because they don't know they're in it. It's not because they don't want to get out of it. They stay in it because they don't want to make the investments that would be required for them to get out of it. So the first step of getting out of tactical hell is deciding that it is worth it to slow yourself down to speed up. Number 2, with that decision made, do the opposite of what got you here and enlist help in getting things organized. Remember that the problem and the solution often require completely different approaches. The thing that got you into a situation is not necessarily the thing that will get you out of the situation. Person gains a lot of weight by eating a whole lot of food. The solution is not to eat food at all. It's to change what you eat. That's a different approach. It's not doing the opposite of what you were doing before. If what you were already been doing was actually the solution, you could have figured it out on your own. Number 3, strategies and systems. The biggest difference between a person at 50K and a person at 250K is better. You can get better. You can better your way to about 250K, but anywhere past that, you're going to need something more than that. You're going to need some strategies and you're going to need some systems in place. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to get there, but I guarantee that you won't if you don't have strategies and systems in place. And you cannot hard work your way to a 7-figure salary or a 7-figure revenue. You need to put strategies and systems in place that systematize your effort so that you are earning and producing results strategically through process, not by skill or talent or hard work. I know people told you that that's all it took. They were lying, and actually they weren't lying. They didn't know what the hell they were talking about. So they were telling the truth as far as they knew it, but they didn't know too much of the truth. And that's the problem. All that said, text me to get my daily motivation straight to your phone free of charge. My number is 305-384-6894. And the place I told you I'd tell you to go. If you want to get strategic and systematic with your business, go to workonyourgame.net. Watch the free training that's right there. At the end of that training, I'm going to give you an option of booking a call with me so we can talk about how we can implement this into your business. And that is all, again, at workonyourgame.net. Work on your game. Dre all day.